Let's turn now then to the subject of social networking. An excellent session here on that, despite the fact that the mass industry can actually agree on what the hashtag should be on Twitter for IBC this year. But Mats, let's start with you on this one. Are you a social networker in any shape or form?
Yeah, of course I am, but the Swedish broadcasters are not so good at.
Because there was an incident not so long ago, I believe, where I think it was the SVT, which has banned the use of Facebook associated to programmes, which is the complete opposite of what you see with the BBC, who are forever telling you to participate in that.
Yeah, it's one of the problems that the SVT can't. I mean, they can't promote any companies, so they can't say Facebook in TV. But on the other hand, 2 weeks ago, Viasat launched their Facebook site to the British Football League, and already in 2 weeks' time they've got 6,000 users and got lots of comments and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is turning into an excellent way, I think, for broadcasters to promote themselves. There was several examples were given by Trevor Johnson of Facebook, who was saying that I think 1.5 million Facebook fans have signed up to the X Factor, the Saturday night talent contest on British television and many other markets as well. And they're carrying on and revisiting the site during the week. But in many ways, it feels there was also the other example was given of the game show £1 Million Drop. Again, I think that's going into other markets as well. But they seem to be asking for audience participation in the same way that Red Button was, say, 10 years ago. And I wonder, Simon, if we're sort of reinventing the wheel a little bit here.
Possibly, but the wheel has been reinvented for broadcasters, I think, with the huge and incomparable success that Facebook enjoys in markets everywhere. I was in Asia a few weeks ago talking to some broadcasters in Malaysia, for example, who have had immense response both on television and radio through putting on Facebook sites up for their DJs and for their principal shows, with hundreds of thousands of people signing up to those Facebook pages in a country where broadband penetration isn't great, but people want to interact. So I think that you can take a leaf out of that book. The 1.5 million actually for the UK's X Factor isn't that big when you look at the total TV audience. So there's bags of potential there, I think.
Yeah, David, do you think it is a sort of like a shifting sand, and it's just simply one of those cyclical things? We move from one means of doing it to another. You know, in my day it was called Noel Edmonds on the multicoloured swap shop using a thing called a telephone.
Yes, I think so. In many ways, we all used to describe interactive television with a picture of a telephone, exactly, because that has been the way for people to interact. And as you say, then we had Red Button. People in the UK have pulled away from that. And I remember describing that at one point as on-screen graffiti. I mean, if you pulled up the Red Button service on the top of, I think it was Question Time on the BBC, I mean, some of the comments that were going through there, I don't think would ever have been approved by, you know, the sort of regulation authorities there. So I think that's part of the issue. And the other issue is multi-screen here, I think, regarding social networking. I mean, again, our surveys tends to suggest there is a lot of resistance to interrupting what's going on the main video. You know, you want to sit there and watch the programme. The interesting thing that's happening now is clearly, you know, simultaneous usage of other devices. Mm-hmm. And again, we know anecdotally, and the research has shown that people are sitting there either with laptops, phones, and of course increasingly tablets, which is the hot new device. And these, I think, increasingly are great ways for people to engage in some of that social network in real time with the television programming.
We'll end with a few quick comments on public service broadcasting. Time is tight, so keep your answers short, please, gentlemen. There was talk yesterday, the BBC, Sir Michael Lyons, the chairman of the BBC Trust, was saying we've got to have 80% of our funds going into content. Does this mean that we're going to see public broadcasters pulling away from their involvement in technology? Will they be satisfied once Canvas and its European equivalent HBB is in place? Simon?
I think broadcasters, the public broadcasters, are always going to look to reinvent technological innovation. It's what they've done for the last 70, 80 years, and I don't think that's going to stop. The BBC is a unique example because it's got BBC R&D, although that's much shrunken over what it was a few years ago. But it's still a hotbed of innovation and new ideas, and I think that will continue. And I think that's important because broadcasting does lead the way in so many things that touch our lives, and so that's key to their success.
And Mats, the Swedish broadcaster SVT has also been one of those ones which likes to innovate, but does it have the money to do that?
Yeah, I think so. I think they will make priorities to do that.
David, what do you think on this? Do you think that there are opportunities for public service broadcasters that innovate on the technology, or is it left really to the proprietary vendors to do that job these days?
Well, I think clearly there are opportunities. I think the tough decisions that public broadcasters need to make they are tough decisions, and the point is they do need to prioritise. And I think the stumbling block for these firms in Europe and these organisations is the demand for universality, which is essentially the bedrock of why they exist in the European market, why they continue to be funded as public services. But matching that with the proliferation of platforms and services and opportunities there is a mismatch there. They simply can't afford to do everything. Nobody can.
Yeah. David, thanks very much for that, and thanks very much, gentlemen, for coming in. That's it from this edition of Studio IBC. We'll be back again in a few days' time with a look at what we've found on the exhibition show floor. But for me and all the Broadband TV News team, thanks for watching.